don't need any prodding. I don't need any law. I'm gonna sing with all my heart. God is my all in all. Let go of my burden. Loving God has made me free. I'm blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, 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 I thought it was my duty. I thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed loving God would be hard. But loving God is ecstasy. Loving God is wonderful. I thank God for my freedom. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. One more time. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me.
Woo! Thank you, Julie. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Northern Colorado. My name is Amber Davidson. I am a practitioner here. My pronouns are she, her. We're so glad that you have decided to join us. We welcome all lifestyles and beliefs. No matter who you are welcome here. I want to acknowledge that this service is being held on the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne peoples. We recognize that this land is rightfully theirs, and we offer our respect and gratitude for their continuing kinship with this place. Our spiritual philosophy, the Science of Mind, is inclusive of all spiritual traditions. We believe that at the heart of every faith tradition lies the shared message that we are all one. Lonnie Hickman is our prayer partner today. She's holding consciousness for everyone in the room, and she will be available with me after service for one-on-one prayer over here by the windows. Let's say our mission and our vision together, our vision where we're going, and our mission how we're going to get there. Say with me, our mission. We are an inclusive community inspiring personal growth, spiritual practice, and a positive way of life. And our vision, to support humanity's spiritual growth, creating a world that works for all. Good job with no words. Excellent you. So there are some people that actually know our vision, which is fabulous. Okay, kiddos, do we have kiddos? Let's bring the kiddos up.
Let's sing together. God is everything there is, so I am part of God. I know there's lots of good for me and everybody else. I'm thankful and grateful for everything we have. So I let go of this prayer, and so it is.
Go have tons of fun. Yay. So our announcements today as the kids are filing out, our September outreach, a percentage of all the money that you give, we give. And who we are giving to this month for September is Vindicate Foods. Vindicate Foods is a nonprofit that believes people of all socioeconomic statuses should have access to healthy, organic, local food. Vindicate rescues food from grocery stores and local farms and then makes it available to the public. Blessing Our Country. This is facilitated by Rev. Cheri Jensen and practitioner Lonnie Hickman. Join us on Thursday, October 3rd from 6:30 to 7:30 to bless our country's election process. CSL NOCO will host a bi-weekly gathering to raise consciousness around our election through meditation, prayer, and conversation. You are welcome to attend all sessions or just the one. Empower Your Spirit, Essential Tools from Science of Mind. This is a monthly series, and I really encourage all of you to go to this. Each class will focus on a different spiritual practice. Join us for the next class on October 19th, when it's going to be focused on spirituality and abundance. Do not tell me that we all couldn't have more abundance, even if we are fabulously abundant. So join us on October 6th for a special celebration service. We're celebrating music and the divine power. Joining Julie and our guitarist, who's normally here, Lance, will be, yeah, see, everybody's excited about it, truly. So they'll be already a singer. Laura Evans, Julia Taylor will be on vocals, and Katie Stieber on percussion. We will have appetizers after service, so, you know, food and music, what could be better? Join us for the great music and inspiring message and time to connect with others. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see all of you there. We have a potluck tonight. The potlucks are back. I love a good potluck. Yay! So if you are new here today, please be our guest at the potluck, and come join and sit with us and have some fun. For any other information, please see our website or check out the newsletter. Now we're going to take it down a little. We're going to have an opening chant, and we're going to have singing bowls, and we're going to have an opening prayer. I'm going to invite Linda up to play our singing bowls, and as you hear the vibration, please let it center you, let it ground you. Just feel the vibration moving through you.
There's only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There's only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one. There is only one.
As a singer and a voice teacher, I love when babies are singing along. If you just take that quiet energy, and the energy of joy that's being echoed for us, a joy that is just so present, we take this moment to be with ourselves here, to come together for this moment of remembering our connection that is always there. But we get this opportunity to have this time together to really think about the wonder and the expansive power of the divine. That never-ending joy, that never-ending love, that never-ending gift that keeps giving and giving. And we get to take this time to understand that we are deeply and profoundly connected to that. That all of the aspects of the divine, all of that joy, all of that love, all of the good that never ends and expands is part of us. That we move as that. We move as a force for that and as a representation for that. It's moving through us and as us in every moment. And how joyful it is to be together, to have this time, and to have this unity with the divine, this unity with spirit, this community with each other, and this harmony in concert with the divine in each of us. And I give thanks for all of these blessings, knowing that every person here, every person online, and every person in our community is a divine gift, is a divine blessing, is part and parcel of the one, is the expression of the one in the world. And in this sense of thanksgiving for that certainty, for knowing that it is so, I release my word. I release this having no connection to the words that I've said, that they're just let go into that divine. And knowing that this joy, this love, this blessing is already so in all of our lives. I say, and so it is.
And flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done. The clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let 'em know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed, but something's lost and something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Julie, that was just beautiful, just beautiful. And you know that it really hits when it's like last chord and time and time and time, and then the applause. You just know that energy in the room. It's fabulous. So you guys have a fabulous gift today. Rev Cheri Jensen is an ordained religious science minister with over 20 years of service. She served as senior minister at Spiritual Enrichment Center in San Rafael, California, senior minister at Whole Life Center for Spiritual Living in Fort Collins for 12 years, and is one of the founding ministers for our current center. She loves living and sharing the principles of science of mind as a teacher, speaker, mentor, and officiant for significant journeys of life. Please help me in welcoming Reverend Cheri Jensen.
Thanks. Oh. I brought my own clock today. Not that I'll look at it. Julie, thank you so much. That was a beautiful song. Stirs up a lot of stuff. But I want to begin with this. We never know the hour or the day when someone we love or ourselves will leave this life. That is so. So I believe that it is incumbent upon us to make every day matter. To tell the people we love that we love them every day. To apologize if we've done harm to anyone. To forgive those who have done harm to us. Because I don't want love to block the flow. I don't want unforgiveness to block the flow of love in my life. I believe we should learn to play well with one another, to be kind, to laugh more, and to have more fun. Are you with me? So, my retirement gig is to officiate memorials and funerals and celebrations of life. I get to experience a death all the time, but I am gifted to meet the most amazing people that I can even imagine. I work with families at their most vulnerable, and I get to be nosy and ask 1,000 questions so that I can get to know who has passed, what they lived and how they loved and how they expressed in life. And I meet some amazing people this way. I've had experiences where people have lived in regret. You know, mom or dad dies and the kids haven't said they're sorry for hating them for whatever reason. Or they've had amazing deathbed experiences where there's been healings, there's been forgiveness, there's been truth told. We humans are amazing. We have this birth and we have this death that is inevitable. And we live our lives sometimes as if we don't really think that's true. I was telling Amber that I did a memorial the other day, and as I'm leaving the mortuary, a woman comes running after me, and she goes, "Oh, I love the service. If I die, I want you to do my service." I said, "Great, sounds good." Thank you for the compliment, if you die. Because sometimes we're not treasuring our life enough. We're not aware enough, we're in denial enough to forget that every day is precious. Every day matters. I don't leave the house. I live alone, except I live in service to my cat. So I never leave the house without finding her and telling her that I'm leaving now, I'll be back in a few hours, and that I love her. She gets that nice cuddling before we leave because she's precious to me. I'm blessed with a son who talks to me almost every Saturday, and we get caught up, and we always tell each other we love us. But I'm doing a service in a couple of days where there's going to be a security guard at this memorial because the sisters are bickering. There is unforgiveness in their lives around their mother who has passed. Makes my heart sad to know that we're going to have a security guard there just in case one sister goes crazy. And I said, we won't have that. We're going to be okay. I had a healing 2 weeks ago at a service. 4 siblings, 3 different moms, 12 years between the oldest and the youngest, scattered around the country. I had a wonderful time with the youngest son. He didn't know his dad the way the other siblings knew his dad. So he didn't deal with an alcoholic father. He dealt with a man who was in recovery, who was living his life, giving his gifts. Dad was in a T-bone accident, died immediately. This was not in the cards for this family. The kids were not connecting. They were not happy with one another. So last Saturday, they show up at the service. I've only spoken to 1.5 of them, basically. Actually, it was 6 weeks between the time I met them and the service because people had to travel to wherever this was, Loveland. I was concerned because they weren't getting along, at least for me, and they weren't cooperating with me either. I'm used to sweet-talking people and getting everything I can out of them to understand the life that we're celebrating. I wasn't getting much. But I walked in, and the oldest son, who has a teenage daughter of his own, was standing there, and he says, "Well, you must be Cheri." And I said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "I am looking at this amazing display of photographs." I said, "Why don't you can you take a moment and just tell me about these? Because up until now, we didn't know this was going to happen." They had an opportunity to go through their dad's home, and they found boxes in the basement. A box for each of those 4 children. He had kept childhood photographs, school projects, memorabilia. Each of the 4 children had their own box, but the treasure trove was his box of his childhood. These kids had never known about these. There was his dad. There was a photograph of this little brown boy because he was adopted by a little white family in Texas. He never felt like he belonged, but he was loved. They found photographs of him growing up because he had a pretty extraordinary growing up. Something shifted for these 4 siblings that really didn't know each other very well. People got up and shared. Over 100 people showed up for this service. The kids did not expect this. The kids learned about their dad, his generosity of spirit, his place in the community, how he served other people, how he lifted people up. And then some of the kids shared. They talked about how difficult their time had been with their dad. But they also recognized how much they loved him and how much he loved them. I left there feeling so happy. My prayer is that they find family with one another, that they reconnect, that they care enough about one another, because life is too short to hold grudges. I was on the phone this morning with my son. It's his birthday today. Yes. I won't tell you how old he is because he's old. But yesterday, he got to connect with a young man that I knew as a kid, with Jimmy. Brandon lived next door to us in Napa. He lived with his grandparents. And the grandparents raised him and his brother, and the kids played, they fought, they did what kids do. They haven't talked in over 20 years. But Brandon had called Jim and said, "Hey, I would love to connect with you." So Jim said, "Mom," he said, "I spent like 4 hours with him last night." He said, "First of all," he said, "I couldn't believe our old house." So he's looking in the backyard going, "Oh, look at the things they've done." So he was having his own memories, but Brandon was telling him that so many people have died recently. His mother has died. His brother just has had a couple of strokes, and he said, I've had so many losses in my life. He said, I set an intention for my life to start connecting with people I cared about, and he said, you were at the top of the list. He said, life is so short, I don't want to miss a moment of connection. He said, could you possibly spare me a couple of hours every once in a while? He said, it's so good to connect with somebody that knew me as a child. And Joan was touched. My son is not super sentimental, but I hope that that helped him be aware of how important we are to each other. I don't let people leave my services without telling them this, that we're interwoven in this thing called life. Every person you've ever met, every person you've driven past in traffic or gone to the grocery store, we have touched each other's lives. We touch each other's lives in spiritual community even more closely. Every life we've met, we take away something that becomes a connection. It might be a difficult connection, and it might be pretty amazing, right? But we're interwoven. We can't get through this life without being interconnected. It is the web of life. So when we're sad, other people get to know that our sadness touches them. We can overcome it. We walk in, we get a hug, we feel better. That's why we come to church. I like to come get hugs. It's important to me. But every life we've ever met has touched us. I tell people at my services, you wouldn't be here if this beloved had not come into your life. And so we want to really connect and find out what makes us tick. But every day we have an opportunity to recognize that this one precious life that we have is such a gift. We do have a spiritual DNA. We all know this. Within us is a spiritual being having a human experience. We are not bound by our past. We are not bound by the circumstances or the conditions where we come from. This past month, I read a book called A Place Called Home. It was written by a man whose name is David Arbroz. He wrote a memoir. You meet him and he's 5 years old. He is the youngest of 3 siblings. They are walking through New York in the middle of the night. They are not dressed properly. They are hungry beyond belief. He's covered in lice, and they don't know where they're going to sleep that night. He was born into a homeless, poverty-ridden situation. His mother was mentally ill. These children didn't know where their next meal was coming from or if there would be a next meal. They were adept. They were really adept at going behind restaurants in New York City and finding, leftover pizza or whatever leftover food would be in the garbage cans. David, as a 3-year-old, was taught how to go through cigarette butts and find enough so that his mother could smoke because that's the only thing that kept her quiet and happy. He learned to be a people pleaser. But for the first 13 or 14 years of his life, he didn't have a home of his own. His story is remarkable. It's hard read. But he has transcended his very, very difficult childhood. He is now an attorney. He has finished law school, got educated, and he is a nationally recognized poverty and child welfare advocate. He doesn't want any child to go what he went through because he went through it at a horrible time. When they were beaten by mom, she would keep them home from school so the authorities couldn't see. But he said even if they did go to school, nobody cared. They were afraid to tell somebody that mom beat them, that they didn't have food. School was their only resource. But he stayed on a path of knowing that there was a more for him. And he transcended what has been. Think about your own life. We've all had to come through stuff. Not everybody had I'm going to date myself, the Ozzie and Harriet or Donna Reed family or good things. I had a pretty decent childhood. Some of us didn't. But we're not bound by anything other than believing that we can or can't. David had a tremendous story. A couple of years ago, I did a service for a young man who had spent his teenage years drug addicted. He did not finish high school. And he was just gotten through a recovery program in Denver and was thriving. For the first time in his life, he was in his mid-20s by now. He was connected with his parents who loved him so much. He was thriving. He had a great job. And they were in Denver, walking in a crosswalk, he and a buddy, on their light, and was killed instantly by a runaway driver. His death was tragic. His life seemed to have been unfolding in good ways, and it's like, oh my gosh. The day of the service, kids and young adults, they're not kids, well, they are kids to me, but the young adults from the Denver area where he had gone through recovery found their way to Fort Collins to be at that service. They lined up during the sharing time. And to a person, they talked about what a cheerleader this kid was. That they told them that, he said, I'm doing it. You can do it too. Don't do that stuff anymore. Your life is precious. Over and over again, we witnessed the most amazing stories of how he touched lives. Every life that I get to serve might be extraordinarily ordinary. The woman, she was the epitome of the perfect housewife. It was an era. Her daughters are in their 50s. Mom finally died. Dad had died a few years before. They lived in the same house in old Fort Collins. The girls, all they could talk about was how wonderful it was. Every day for lunch, Dad was a professor at CSU. He would come home to have a homemade lunch with his wife and the girls. And then they'd walk back to school, and he'd go back to the university to teach classes. She sewed, of course. She entertained. It was the perfect 60s housewife, I would imagine. She was lovely. The kids adored her. Her life was an extraordinary, ordinary life. She was awesome, well-loved. Each and every one of us has an opportunity to shift, to change the trajectory of our lives. If your life is great, wonderful, keep doing what you're doing. If your life is not exactly as clean, anything unforgiven, maybe? I want to talk about forgiveness just a little bit because I've watched people struggle with forgiveness when I meet with these families. Our relationship is limited. I go in, I meet with the family. I find out a lot of stuff. I find out lots of things. And then the services allow me another look at how they relate to one another and what's important to them. But forgiveness does not mean that we ever condone bad behavior. It's not about forgiving a bad thing. It's about forgiving your attachment to it that is blocking the flow of love in your experience. When we withhold forgiveness for another person, we're the ones that do damage to our own hearts. They're not affected by us not forgiving them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Our holding a grudge only hurts us. So when we can learn to let go of trying to have a perfect past, and we open up to just saying, I love myself enough to no longer hold grudges about that person, about that situation, then we get to be more in the flow of life. We get to be free of all of that angst and pain and suffering. My mentor said, you know you have forgiven when that person or that experience has harmless passage through your mind. It's all in our mind, isn't it? We have this amazing opportunity every day to be grateful for what we have, to be open to the more, but to be grateful where we are right now for the people that are in our lives, for the things that we have, your fuzzy little critters. How grateful we are for this one precious life. We've been born into an experience. We didn't have a choice about that. As children, like young David Ambrose, he had no control over the choices that were made in his life, how he was treated, where he was put. He was a young gay man. He realized he was different than his brothers and sisters. And when they got to go into a foster home, he was sent to a group home to change him. This man has gone through a lot to come into his own, to get his own education, to not only survive but thrive. If he can do it, we all can overcome the things that we think have been holding us back, the things that would keep us from loving fully, the things that might stand in the way of our greater good. There's a statement that says the rest of your life is still unwritten. What do you want to do with this one precious life of yours? How shall you live it? There's a fabulous book called Knowing I Will Die, How Shall I Live? Something to that effect. My mentor and minister went through that book the year that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So every week they had a book club for a year as she was going through her life-threatening experience. It was an amazing thing to be a part of that journey with her. And one of my most amazing adventures with her was that she was the minister. She told her congregation that she was going to take some time off to deal with her surgery and her cancer. And Karen Drucker wrote her a song about healing, and everybody in church got up and created concentric circles around her. It was one of the most magnificent things I've ever seen, because not only did we physically touch one another, everybody in that community, but we all touched Reverend Carol. We touch each other every single day in every single way. Knowing you are going to die, how shall you live? Because no one ever knows the day or the time when someone we love or ourselves will leave this planet. How do you want to live your life? What matters to you? I invite you to pull out your little homework for the week. Because really, get on with your life, live. But I want us to read this affirmation together, if you would. Everything's in here. Let love be your guide. We make choices all the time, do we not? We suffer the consequences of bad decisions, and we learn from them. my Reverend Barbara Thomas Smith, my first minister, she was amazing. But she stood up one day and she goes, you know what we do with sin? She said, we enjoy it. Think about it. She said, you're going to make mistakes. Enjoy them. Just don't do them again. You learn from your mistakes, but live. Dare to make mistakes, because otherwise we're not living. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm afraid to make a step. Afraid to do something. And then I think about that. Well, what's the worst thing that can possibly happen? Sometimes that's a good question, and sometimes it's not. So, at the bottom of the page is an affirmation. Would you please say this with me? Julie, if you're out there, please come in. Today, I choose to live in the present moment, seeking and finding so much to be grateful for. Those I love receive my love in word, thought, and deed. My love of life extends to everyone I meet. I apologize, forgive, and let life flow through my heart and mind. The divine lives through me, and I honor the light within me. Today, I treasure this one precious life, and I treasure you. You are precious to me.
I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined. It's just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned, staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. I break tradition, sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you, Julie. Let's give her another round of applause. So it says in the book here that tells me things that I get to say, if I pay attention. If you received some spiritual food today, but I want to invite you to think a little bit bigger and know that your giving today supports this community, supports new thought, supports the science of mind philosophy in the world. And I love the saying that says that a rising tide raises all boats. And as we raise our consciousness here in this community, everybody that we touch also raises. So please think of this as a community that you are giving to support And we believe that when you support a spiritual thing that gives you joy, that opens you up spiritually, that you receive back multiplied. There are several ways that you can give, which are indicated thusly. Please place your gift over your heart, or if you are one of our sustaining auto givers, just place your hands over your heart and say with me, this gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyfully I receive.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for love. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for love. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for love. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for love. I'm free. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for love.
Multiply for everyone here, multiply for our community, multiply in the best ways for the best things in the world and this community and all the people that make up this community. Thank you so much, and so it is. If you are here for the first time, we welcome you. Please, again, be our guest at the potluck. Please come and break bread with us. After service, Lonnie Hickman and I, your prayer partners, will be at the windows to pray with you. We would love to know the very best thing that could possibly be in your life, so come get a prayer. And I wanted to take this moment to say that we have a meditation before the service from 4:30 to 4:45, and today the room was packed. It was awesome. So let this serve as your invitation to please come to the meditation before the service. It's a delight, and Lonnie ran a beautiful meditation for us, so that was fabulous. If you are online and you would like a prayer, please go to our website at cslnoco.org and submit a prayer request. And do that for yourself. Do that. And if you would like to write your prayer, we have a prayer box in the back, and you can just put the prayer in there, and it will be prayed on by the entire ecclesiastical team. Please stand now and join me in saying our benediction and singing our closing song. Place your hands over your heart. We love the placing the hands over the heart thing, don't we? And speak with me. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. May we be healed. May we be a source of healing for all beings. Love is who I am. Love is who we are. Love is all there is.
Let's sing together. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.